Welcome back, and today we're talking about negative exponents and how to work with those. You're going to see them occasionally show up in your problems, and how you want to treat these guys is you just need to flip it to the opposite side of the fraction. So technically this first guy is over 1. The negative exponent means you're going to flip this top term and it's going to go to the denominator. Now, you do have to put an invisible 1 up top then, because you can't leave nothing in the top of your fraction. So we go 1 over x to the 3. Once you flip a fraction, once you flip a variable or an exponent, once you flip a number or a variable, to get rid of the negative exponent, you remove the negative exponent. Right here, this guy's in the denominator, so we flip it up, and it's going to become y to the second power. Boom. Okay. There we go. Because now, technically it's over 1, but you don't really have to write that over 1. Anyway, so again, key deals. All you need to do when you have a negative exponent is flip that term to the other side or top and bottom of your fraction, and then remove the negative after the flip. We have to remember that after the flip, the negative goes away. Usually, I've found it's best to flip the negative exponents at the end of simplifying an exponent problem. It just seems to work best. So, let's check these guys out. A few examples. First, when we have a product of powers, we're going to multiply our numbers just like normal. Okay, that's going to be a 4 times 3, that's 12. And add our exponents. That's a negative 4 plus 3. So x to the negative 4 plus 3. And that's going to give us 12x to the negative 1 power. We have a negative exponent. So we need to flip this term, just this term, over the fraction. So I put an over 1, and I flip that guy down, that term. So I have 12 in the numerator, and x to the first, or just x, in the denominator. There we go. That's how we do it. Another example, multiply our numbers. So we've got ourselves 3 times 2, that is 6. And then we go p2 and p negative 4. Well, let's add the exponents. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2, so p to the negative 2 power. We have a negative exponent, so I need to flip this guy to the bottom of the fraction. So this is going to become 6 over p squared. Bop. Usually your answers are going to want to have positive exponents. Okay, so no negatives in the final answers and no zero powers. I'll talk about zero powers in a moment. Division problem, we're going to split this guy. So we have 4 over 2 is just 2. Subtract our powers, x to the 2 minus 5. Oh, that's going to give us a negative 3. And then we have a y to the 3 minus 1. That's y to the 2. We have a negative power again, so we have to flip only the x3 term. So we have 2y squared in the numerator and an x to the third in the denominator. All right. So again, usually it's best, you'll see in each of these problems, I kind of solve these guys, and then at the end, I flip the fraction. Or I flip the negative exponent to remove it. The zero power. This one is unique, but it's also pretty quick. Anything to the zero power equals 1. So that means if you have x to the 0, it equals 1. If you have 5 to the 0, it equals 1. If you have an expression ab squared to the 0 power, that also equals 1. Okay? What do we do when we see these guys in a problem? All we really do is we need to cross them out. The problems are easier without them. I'll give you a quick example. If you were to have something like negative 1x times negative 3, y to the 0, z to the fourth. Well, you've got this 0 power. You want to start the problem with just crossing it out. It simplifies your problem right from the get-go, and then we can just solve this guy like normal. -1 times -3 is a positive 3. There's only one x, and there's only one z term. So we're all done. Bop. Again, if you come across a y equals 0 term, maybe you've got something like this: x to the 5th, y to the 2nd, over x to the 3rd, y to the 2nd. You could solve this guy, and you subtract the powers. 5 minus 3 is 2, so x to the 2nd. 2 minus 2 is 0. Ooh, you have a 0 power. So cross that out. You don't want to have that in your final answer. Bop, there you go. Now you could also cross the y's. If you're good with your fractions, you might say, oh, I have the same value in the numerator and the denominator. I can cancel them out. This concept is the same concept of canceling your 0 power. So just do whatever is easiest for you. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.